We are living in times where there is an assault on sanity. Political correctness has run amok and logic has been left by the wayside. Do you constantly ask yourself, WTF is going on in this nation? Do you sometimes feel like a stranger in your own country? Well, fear not. You are not alone. This is the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot Show, coming to you from deep inside flyover country with your hosts, VEE Right and Jose Estevez.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to WTF, the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot Show, and I am VEE Right. Unfortunately, this evening, the senor has been delayed, but he will be joining us shortly, and we look forward to having him when he does. In the meantime, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a rundown, and we've got some guests joining us later on in the program, so we hope you guys will stick around for that. Want to remind you that if you would like to tune in to our program, there's some new things on our website. On our website, the WTFradioshow.com, just under the player and under our phone number, you will find a link to the Spreaker.com. There's a button. It'll take you automatically to our program. Or to iTunes. You can now get iTunes on your desktop, laptop, what have you. If you have access to the internet and you can push that button, you can listen to us live on iTunes. Want to remind you as well that we come to you live, unrehearsed, unscripted, unfiltered, and PG-13, but never PC, Monday through Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You guys can always join us here Monday through Thursday. Also want to take this opportunity to remind you guys that our phone lines are open while our broadcasts are live. From the moment we come live to the moment we shut down the show for the evening, our phone lines are open. We look forward to you guys calling in with your comments, questions, topics, what have you. Please feel free to call in 313-462-0068. We come to you hosted by Patriot Network News. That's PNNTalkRadio.com. We're also hosted on PatriotsRide.org, iTunes, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn.com. All of those locations carry our broadcast. Also want to tell you that if for some reason you miss one of our shows, it's no big deal. If you find yourself in a situation where we did a show that you would like to share with your friends, not a big deal either. After our show, they automatically upload to Spreaker.com, to YouTube, and the iHeartRadio archives. So you can find us at any of those three locations. And you can find those links on our website, thewtfradioshow.com. Well, to get with it, last night on the show, we had discussed the budget that was put forth by Paul Ryan, and I'm going to discuss a little bit more about that shortly. However, one of the things that I was curious about, and I asked our listeners, and if you guys have any information, by all means, please do call in and let me know. But I had asked our listeners what we could do about a recall, possibly, of Paul Ryan. Because obviously, the D.C. machine, all that is District of Corruption there, is supporting anything and everything Imam Hussein is doing. So I knew that my particular state offered recall elections. And a listener of the show, thank you so much, Elik, loyal listener, sent me a link today. And he was under the understanding that there was only a recall capability for state legislators. And well, what you've got to consider is all of our legislators come from the state, with the exception of the president. So he sent me this link from the National Conference of State Legislators. Now, for you guys that don't know, a recall is a procedure that allows citizens to remove and replace a public official before the end of their term. We saw a representation of that in an attempt against Governor Scott Walker. Historically, recalls have been most used at local levels, but it differs in that it's not an impeachment, because an impeachment is a political device where you're expected to be judged by your peers in either the Senate or the House. And basically a trial by a legislature. And we all know that those very rarely go anywhere. Well, in this link that Eric sent me, there are 19 states plus the District of Columbia that permit the recall of state officials. And they're Alaska, Illinois, New Jersey, Arizona, Kansas, North Dakota, California, Louisiana, Oregon. Let me see what other states. Oh, Lord, I've lost that link just that quick. Let me pull that back up. I know my state of Georgia allows it. Let's see. District of Columbia, Minnesota, Washington, Montana, Wisconsin, Idaho, and Nevada. Now, Virginia has a process that is similar to a recall, but it wasn't listed on this particular website because of its process. So it's not really a recall. What it is, it requires citizens to sign a petition, but it calls for a recall trial rather than a recall election. Now, there are pros and cons to a recall. Supporters of recall maintain that it provides a way for citizens to retain control over elected officials who are not representing the best interest of their constituents, and that is why I call for a recall election. Other reasons for it would be that their legislators are unresponsive or incompetent. Opponents argue that it can lead to an excess of democracy. Well, the only problem with that is we're not a democracy. So you can't have an excess of personal citizens' control when the entire government was established and platformed to be at the majority of the populace's discretion. Now, how a recall works, the recall, first you file an application to circulate a recall petition. Now, some states only allow petitions if they meet certain grounds for recall, and I'm going to cover that in a few moments. Then they ask that you circulate a recall petition, of course, garnering a specific number of signatures in a traditionally limited amount of time, which can be 30 days to 6 months. Then you submit the petitions to the election officials of your state for verification of signatures. And once they determine that sufficient valid signatures are presented, a recall election is then held. Now, in most states, any registered voter can begin a recall campaign for any reason. Often the reasons are political, absolutely no doubt. Now, in Michigan, in the Michigan's Constitution, it says the sufficiency of any statement or reasons or ground shall be political rather than judicial. And you will find that most states will allow you to have, or the states that I've called out here, will allow you to do a recall against any elected official except a judiciary. You cannot have somebody pulled from the bench. Now, there are 8 states that have specific requirements for a recall election. In Alaska, it is lack of fitness, incompetence, neglect of duties, or corruption. In Georgia, it's an act of malfeasance or misconduct while in office, a violation of oath of office, failure to perform duties prescribed by law, willfully misused, converted, or misappropriated without authority, public property, or public funds entrusted to or associated with the elective office to which the official has been elected. In Kansas, if you've got a felony conviction, You can be recalled. Misconduct in office, incompetence, a failure to perform duties prescribed by law. No recall submitted to the voters shall be held void because of insufficiency of grounds, application, or petition by which the submission was produced. Now that's Kansas law. Minnesota has a recall election that says serious malfeasance or nonfeasance during the term in office and in the performance of the duties of the office or conviction during the term of office. Montana has physical or mental lack of fitness, incompetence, violation of oath of office, official misconduct, conviction of certain felony offenses. It says no person may be recalled for performing a mandatory duty of the office he holds or for not performing any act that, if performed, would subject him to prosecution from official misconduct. Rhode Island says authorized in the case of general officers who have been indicted or informed against for a felony, convicted of a misdemeanor, or against whom a finding of probable cause of the violation of the Code of Ethics has been made. Virginia, again, we talked about it. It's not really a recall. It's a recall trial, not a recall election. And you can only file that for neglect of duty, misuse of office, or incompetence in the performance of duties. Misuse of office or incompetence in the performance of duties has a material adverse effect upon the conduct of office. In Washington, it's commission of some act or acts of malfeasance or misfeasance while in office and who has violated the oath of office. Now, who can be recalled? Now, some states limit who you can recall, but it turns out Paul Ryan happens to be in the state of Wisconsin. So I suppose in this particular instance, I am primarily calling upon those listeners who are in the state of Wisconsin. And in Wisconsin, for recall, it says any state, judicial, congressional, or legislative official. What's required is 25% of the total votes cast for the office of governor at the last election within the same district or territory of that officer being recalled. Which means you've got to go to whatever district they ran in that gave them, get the petitions of 25% of the number of people that voted the governor in at the last election, and you have 60 days from notice of intent to file for a recall election to get that number of petition signatures. Now, I would say Paul Ryan's actions would make that fairly easy. When you start laying it out to the American public exactly what he has done. And I'm not so sure we could not do the same thing for Mitch McConnell. I'll have to look in that. But last night I was specifically concentrating on Paul Ryan. Now, in 6 states, the election for a successor is held simultaneously with the recall election. In California and Colorado, the first question on the ballot is whether the official should be recalled. Voters are then asked to vote for a candidate for the office. The official who is the subject of recall may not be listed among the successors in the candidates. If a majority of the voters vote yes on the recall question, then whoever won the second question would become the person taking that seat. Now, in other states, that is not necessarily the case. In other states, they leave the seat vacant, and generally the governor will appoint someone to that seat until such time as the next election does come. So there are things that we can do that we are not doing in these United States. You have Paul Ryan, who is sitting up there with all his pompousness. Now remember, when he was being considered for Speaker of the House, one of his dictates initially were, oh, you've got to sign an oath that you'll not remove me from my seat. Really? So we're supposed to put you there and leave you there indefinitely, regardless of what damage and harm you do to this nation? Like that $1.1 trillion omnibus that you've just put on the table? We're in a mess, and we have to do something about it. And people say all the time, well, how you go about recalling Paul Ryan. Find you the next candidate. Excuse me, and God bless me. Where is the senor when I need him? You know, we talked a little bit about the omnibus that they're putting before Imam Hussein. Now, today, Jeff Sessions came out, and we agree with Jeff Sessions that the omnibus package is a betrayal to this nation. It funds Planned Parenthood. It fully funds Obamacare, making it virtually impossible to repeal it. It funds the Paris. Remember when they went to Paris and everybody said in D.C., oh, well, don't go over there and make any promises because we're not going to budget for it. Well, guess what? It funds it. There is funding for housing of another estimated 200,000 jihadis. There is continued funding for the State Department's U.S. aid program, which is in addition to the 200,000 jihadis that does our refugee, asylee, and lottery program that is pretty much consistent year after year. It also funds all the welfare programs and continues to make them accessible to the illegal invaders. It funds the DACA program, which is part of Obama's penned-in Dreamers crap that is supposed to be on hold, but obviously is not, because he's going about it anyway. Well, in addition to that, both parties have inserted a sweeping surveillance bill into this over 2,000-page 2016 omnibus spending bill. I'm going to tell you a little bit about this Cyber Security Information Sharing Act. It's been given the green light by the White House, even though it is widely opposed by many of even the top tech companies. The latest version of this was crammed into the spending bill, and it reportedly removes key privacy protections, including a requirement that personal information unrelated to cybersecurity threats be scrubbed before it's shared. That means all of the information that they collect, they can now share. Absolutely all of it. No justification, no warrant, no reason. Just, okay, we have access to it, here you go. The closed-door update of the bill inspired Senator Ron Wyden, Democrat of Oregon, to tweet, this is a Democrat that's tweeting this. Latest, worst version of CISA has no real privacy protection and would do little or nothing to prevent major hacks. Now, given the terror attacks in Paris and the latest in San Bernardino, and now they have finally concluded that the Chattanooga Marine office shooting was indeed terrorism, the White House and intelligence officials argue that they need every resource at their disposal to prevent more terrorist attacks. Now, guys, this is the same security personnel who, when we had San Bernardino, had access to Facebook and was told by the regime and the powers that be, no, you cannot look at their Facebook. Now, is that because they're Islamic? I mean, what exactly was the reason for that? Because we already know that Farouk was under surveillance. We know that. So they're expanding all of this cyber intel gathering. Now, they, we sat here and watched the debates the other night, and there was a big to-do about the NSA not being able to gather metadata. Fact is, they just found a way around it. That's all. Instead of pulling it off your cell phone, because, let's see, maybe they realized throwaway cell phones exist, and that most of this communication is coming through the internet, not over the telephone. We'll just collect everybody's internet information. All of it. Now, I don't know what you guys put on the internet. I don't really care what they collect about me. They know who I am, they know where I'm at, and they know I'm not going to shut up. And I don't put anything out there that I worry about, but there are many of you who do. There are a lot of people doing things online or saying things online that they maybe shouldn't be putting out there. Well, CISA is essentially the U.S. government invalidating every company's privacy policy in this nation. All of those privacy policies that you have agreed to and that you've agreed could be updated at any given time, no big deal, it's fine with you. That's all fixing to change. The government is fixing to have access to all of that. Tech industry advocacy groups worry that the bill will exacerbate tensions between Silicon Valley and the European Union. Because, let's face it, most of the world's internet capability is provided by American servers. So they have reason to be concerned. Now, the companies, do get some safeguards, so they are not going to be held responsible. Now, generally, all of these information sharing bills offer broad legal immunities to companies when they share the data with the government in the event of cyber attack. But this alleviates that requirement of it being a cyber attack. There has to be no cyber attack. They just have free access. It will be an automatic sharing program. And that's where a lot of the tech companies are balking, because they're going to have all this time and effort put into sharing all the information that they gather or that is accessible through their websites, and basically duplicating it to remit it to our federal government. I don't know when we say we've had enough. I really don't know when we say we've had enough. At what point is the intrusion to our personal lives enough? I used to think that it was when we elected somebody who acted so blatantly in a traitorous or treasonistic fashion. But then we got Barack Obama, and that obviously didn't do it. Then I would think things like, well, if they start, messing with our military, putting our military at risk by, putting them with people who are not capable necessarily of doing the job. Well, that happened. The way they dealt with that was just downsize the requirements, lower the standards, lower the bar. You guys that have been out there, you gals that have been out there doing it for the last 10, 15, 20, 30 years, just get used to it. The standards aren't the same. I know, it wasn't fair. You got held to a higher standard. America was safe then. New standard is, you know what? If you can paint your toenails, you can get in the military. Oh, good Lord. But that didn't do it. That didn't stop it either. So then the big thing was, well, if they start treating our veterans bad, we'll everybody will do something about it then. No, that didn't happen. VA is killing how many veterans every year while they continue to get their bonuses and their six-figure checks and take time off and go on vacations and do the conferences that take 2 weeks off, take 2 weeks at exotic locations at the expense of billions, or redecorate their offices rather than take care of our veterans. No, we'll make excuses. We won't deal with that. Okay, well, if we had an invading force in this nation, maybe that would do it. How many millions in the last 4 years of South American invaders, God knows who else from around the globe. We know some Islamics from the Mideast, but from where else? How many millions have come in this country over the last 4, 5, 6 years? Nope. No invasion force to it. As a matter of fact, we not only tolerate it, but we tolerate spending our hard-earned money. That money for which you go to work every single day, sacrifice time with your family for the betterment of them, trying to be responsible and self-reliant, a cut of every dollar you earn. No less of a cut than 25% of every dollar you earn is taken by our federal government, and a portion thereof, yet we got to take care of those illegals, those invaders. But did anybody stand up? Nope. No one stood up. I mean, people are talking. People are pushing petitions. People are trying to do rallies. You've even got people out there that are trying to do Compact for America and the Counterman Amendment. But people are not getting behind them and supporting that effort and offering their free time to support those efforts. Again, I go back to what I said last night. It's very disappointing when you say that there's an event and 200 people commit to going to that event, and you get to that event and only 5 people show up, while the other 195 people sat back and said, I really don't need to spend the gas money to go do this. The kids have got a ball game. Oh, soccer's on tomorrow. Whatever reason, they won't miss me. The other 199 will show up. Well, guess what? 195 people generally say that. So how effective is it to continue to do these protests when only 5 of every 200 show up? Yes, that's a good way to make a statement. And don't sit here and tell me that it makes no difference, because there was a 1 million-man march of all black people that marched on Washington, D.C., and yes, there was damn near 1 million there. And they made it. And look at the inroads that they've made since then. So things can change. Again, I've told you guys, quit wasting your time going to Washington, D.C. Go to your state capital. Demand your state utilize its 10th Amendment right. Make them alter their constitution to say, in this particular state, we recognize the federal government only as its intended constitutional power, and that is national security. National security. How did we go from national security to this massive, bloated, oppressive government that we have today? Yet nobody's listening. Nobody's listening. No one's going. No one is physically going to make those demands. So that didn't create a scenario where anybody stood up. when they started taking land from people through the EPA and the Environmental Protection Agency and the Bureau of Land Management, BLM. Surely everyone would stand up, especially after the Bundy situation, where we saw people stand up and the federal government back away from it. Surely you would see a situation where the masses would come to bat for America then. No. We just recently watched a family of 5 go to jail, looking at a minimum 5-year sentence apiece after the government basically stole their land that had been in their family, that they had a deed to for over 100 years. And because the government changed the rules, they're saying their deed was invalid. The fact that they paid for that land is irrelevant. And we think this is okay because it's not happening to us. It's all right, right? No, nobody stood up and said a word. Then we had the situation, as we currently do, where our legislators have determined that it's a good idea for anybody who has any kind of psychological or psychiatric issue to be considered invalid of owning a weapon. Now, they could not implement that on the masses, so what did they do? They went to the VA, and they targeted our vets, who they know to be the biggest threat in this nation. You piss off the vets, they're armed, we've got problems. Well, we're going to take care of that problem because they've been so tolerant thus far. We're going to take care of that problem. And we're going to issue these letters that say, if you have been designated by your VA doctor, then you, as a psychiatric or psychological deficit individual, or having any issue thereof, then you can't have a weapon. We're going to seize your weapons. We're not only going to seize your weapons, the ones that you own, but it doesn't matter what the classification of those others in your house is. We're going to seize their weapons too, because if you fail to do so, we're going to stop your funding. You know, that money that you require every month that was promised to you by the federal government for the afflictions that you suffered while serving your country, well, that's going to stop if you don't bow down to us. And people said, oh, well, if they start doing that, we're going to stand up for the veterans. Really? Happens every day in California. Someone diagnosed by their VA with PTSD. We had a gentleman that simply went to his doctor and said, yeah, I moved my bank account to another bank to make it easier on my wife to do our banking. They deemed him mentally incompetent to handle his own affairs. It took him years to get his guns back and his rights back. But since that time, they have more than amply gone about doing as they wish in the state of California. Now, of course, today you have another scenario. While everybody is sitting here worried about the debates and everybody is looking at this omnibus and understanding the depth at which our historically elected rolling tide of Republicans have stabbed us in the back and betrayed us, you've got Valerie Jarrett, Imam Hussein, and Michael Bloomberg doing closed-door meetings to formulate the proper wording for an executive action while our legislator is in break to pin in further gun control.
Hey, V, can you say screwed?
I
know you
I
can.
can indeed.
Screwed, blued, and tattooed.
I can
man.
indeed.
Yeah. 233-page bill. I mean, folks, nothing good is going to come out of 233 pages.
It's not 233 pages. This omnibus is currently, as it stands right now, 2,009 pages long.
What?
As it
We're
stands
done.
right now, 2,009 pages long.
My.
Well,
Nothing good can come out of something like that.
There is absolutely nothing good that can come out of this. Absolutely nothing good. I mean, there is no way whatsoever to do that.
No, there's not. That, wow.
Hello.
Well, we have ourselves to blame.
Well, I mean, it is absolutely insane the amount of issues that they're willing to go forward with.
Mm-hmm.
But I did want to touch base on those things. It's just the insanity. And for all of you guys out there, I have been saying, Senor has been saying since March, wait until Christmas break when he has 1 year left at the amount of gun control he's going to pin in. Guys, if you think it's not coming, watch. You got 2 weeks.
Oh, it'll have to be here. Mm-hmm.
Well, we have guests with us, Senor.
Yay!
Yes, and thank you. I'm so glad you made it. I knew that you were detained, and I did let our listeners know that you would be joining us, and I'm so glad that you did make it. I hope everything went well. But we do have guests with us.
Brutal.
Was it?
We played just real quick, and I know our callers are on the line, so callers are our guests. Hold on just a second. We'll be right with you. We played an inner city team, and so literally it was all black kids versus all of our girls and all white girls. So the dichotomy, I don't know, it's very interesting to see. The refs were not, what do they call, like they're by the state or whatever, they get their certification from the state. They were not certified by the state. They were from that school, and it was brutal. It ended up being like 47-32, so not too bad actually. But I'll tell you, it was basically a game of inside street ball, and I mean it was very, very physical. So that's where I was, folks. Sometimes I'm going to be there for her. It's important to do that. So that's where I was, and I'm back now, and we've got our guests on the line.
Well, we have one of our guests.
Well, I see the other one keeps fading in.
I'm here.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to do a little introduction here. We have Jerry Kruger with us this evening, and Nessy Elik. I believe I'm saying that right, correct, Nessy?
Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
I'm gonna give Jerry just a minute, and then I am gonna pass it to Nessy for just a minute, and allow you to introduce yourselves to our guest.
Okay.
Jerry,
Should I go first?
yes, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I basically have been following the Kurds since 1988, and then when I seen what Obama was doing in Syria, I knew that the Kurds were in northern Syria, and I started to reach out to them, and eventually started a group called Help Free the Kurds, and I met Nessy, and she has a group called Lines of Sinjar, and I'll let you take it, Nessy.
Kobana.
Come on. Sinjar.
The lines of Shingal and Kobana, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Okay.
Go on, Nessy.
And Nessy?
I'm from Rochester, New York area.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm a Kurdish German girl. I'm Yazidi. I grew up in Germany, and I have nothing to do with politics normally because my business is music. But because I'm Kurdish, of course, I'm very interested to help in any ways I can since this ISIS thing started in Kurdistan, this war.
ISIS / Turkey.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah, not only Turkey, but yeah, it is.
Well, number one, ladies and gentlemen, this woman is gorgeous. She is gorgeous. She is absolutely gorgeous. And she is as sweet as the day is long. And then, the mutual affinity we have for background and history. Her current occupation, it falls right in line, and we have some, I suppose, mutual acknowledgments in our career paths. Mine of old, which I've since retired from, and yours that you're still currently in. But just a phenomenal woman. If you knew her business resume, it is outstanding. It is absolutely outstanding.
It's not. I mean, yeah, okay, it is.
Yeah, it
Okay,
is.
you can take the compliment. It's good.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
I do my best.
Well, you do a phenomenal job. Senor, I'm
I
going to let you
do
take...
since almost, I think, 18 years or something, so nothing new. It's a long time.
Well, Senor, ladies and gentlemen, Nessy, you have not had the opportunity to meet Jose. He's my co-host here. Jerry, you have. That's Nessy and Jerry Jose. Want to familiarize you guys with one another just a touch there. But, Senor, I'm going to let you take lead here.
Okay. Jerry and Nessy, and either one of you, feel free to answer. I think one of the main reasons we wanted you on tonight is you've got a lot of information about what's going on over in the Middle East, specifically in that Turkey, Syria area, with the Kurds and stuff. But tell us a little bit, both of you, whatever information you have, what is going on regarding a possible civil war in Turkey. Now, we know Turkey has been taken over by a very hardline, I would say, Islamic president now. Yet they're considered one of our friends. They're considered our ally through NATO. And we're just wondering, I got a hold of Jerry through another lady, Elizabeth Chappell, who's spent many, many years over in Turkey. Had a wonderful interview with her about 2 months ago. So what information can you give our listeners about what's going on over there, what it looks like politically and for the people that are living there?
Okay.
Basically, they're using the war to cover killing the Kurds inside their own country.
Exactly.
You would know the actual names of the towns and stuff.
Okay.
And you, Nessy?
What's going on right now is that Turkey just, that they supply ISIS anyway. And I mean, it's not a secret because even Mr. Putin published and proved all evidence at the UN. So what they're doing is that they looks like they get the oil, what they stealing of the Kurdish oil in different areas, which is from Iraq and Syria.
Right.
Okay, so we have Kurdish parts in Syria, which is called Rojava, where YPG fighting now. And also they steal, the Arab Syrian oil too, which is Assad's oil, I'm sorry. And then the Iraq oil, there's a Kurdish autonomous region, which is called Bashur, is in Iraq. The leader there, his name is Barzani. Even he's Kurdish, but he's enemy of Kurds, because that is what the most people don't know. They call just, Barzani, Karji, Peshmerga. His army, the name of his military is Peshmerga. And what NATO, of course, done a few times, just 2-3 days ago, Germany armed them again. But that never helped Kurdistan. So they never shared to help with other Kurdish fighters to defend themselves against ISIS. So YPG never got anything of them. So only the Peshmerga, and no one can see really when they fought against ISIS, by the way. And when the war started was like in Shingal, the place of the Yazidis in Iraq. Was a kind of deal. It's a dirty deal. It was very well organized, and they just attacked in the night the people there, and all the people who had some guns or something private in a house, even they took that they had no chance to defend themselves. That is how they that his whole thing started. ISIS was founded a long time ago, so I mean it's Al Qaeda. And
tell them
then
about the incident of dragging them behind trucks and stuff.
yeah, they do. So and then the next thing is they have so many different terrorist groups, Al-Nusra, and then some other Arab names. I cannot spell it right because I cannot talk Arabic, but I try. I think that called like Al-Shab or something. And they have so many different groups they founded, so they're confusing the whole world that no one don't get anymore who's who, but in fact all of them is ISIS. So, and that is the way how they try to confuse the world and the regular people all over the world.
So basically, ISIS is diversifying.
Yeah, but
they are diversifying and rebranding.
We had Al Qaeda, remember 9/11?
Right.
So, and then they said, oh, they killed Bin Laden, and Al Qaeda is getting boring, the name. So yeah, they used something new. So that's it. I mean, it's the same. There's nothing different. They needed something. It's propaganda. They needed something. The whole world, wow, get afraid.
Well, he funded them in Syria to beat Assad.
Yeah, they founded after Saddam Hussein. They founded ISIS. So
yeah, they let them out of Iraqi jails. The leaders of ISIS.
Yeah,
let them out of jail and gave them weapons.
And if you know something about the Turkish history, I'm sorry that I interrupt you, Jerry.
No, you're okay.
The history of Turks is really, really bad. So I don't know any nation who is so bad like Turks. Even the Saudis or Iranis not so bad like Turks. This extreme Islam, poor Sunnis, and if you go back to the First World War, 1914, they had a big Holocaust. They genocide at the Armenians, which is a Christian nation. They killed
it might be just east of Turkey.
Right.
Yeah, but Turkey wasn't exist, so they'd call it Osmanic. I don't know the places. There's a mix of Osmanic extreme Islam. Barbarians. So there are some Mongols, Ottomans. It's a mix of something. Mongols came from China, but not Chinese people. They are extreme Islam. The roots of the Turks, we call them Turks today. So, and these people just ride over different countries like Armenia. They killed the Armenians. They raped the woman. They beat the guys, the man, the children. It was terrible. I mean, the story is known, so everyone can read and Google it. And after they took them land. They does the same with Bulgarians, with Greeks, with Kurds. I mean, it's a big so. And then they founded 1923 the land and called it Turkey. They had no own language. They stolen just the Kurdish language and mixed up a bit with and just mixed
you can get beaten to death and it's illegal to speak.
Yeah, they stolen our language. I mean, our language is the oldest language in the world. So
Nessy and Jerry. Nessy and Jerry, I'm gonna ask you guys to hold on for a moment because we have a caller. Caller, what is your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm Diana from New York.
Hi, Diana. Thank you for joining us all the way from New York. We appreciate that. What's on your mind tonight?
I'm calling exactly about what they're talking about right now. Okay. I'm a big Kurdistan supporter.
Okay.
And I agree with everything you've said so far.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
Well, we're glad of that. Thank you.
Turkey out of NATO so it doesn't start a third world war. Because if they start fighting with Russia, it's going to trigger the Third World War. because everyone's United States and all of them are going to have to back Turkey, Article 5 of the rules they have for NATO.
Right. Diana, did you have anything else to contribute to the conversation, or a question, or a comment, or any topic?
Actually, I do have a comment.
Okay.
Turkey has been breaking the rules all over the place, and
Yes.
I can't even believe that they're part of NATO.
Well, I
you
think
for
that's a big thing.
They supply ISIS all the time at night.
Right.
Yeah, that is true.
Well, I'm going to ask you folks something real quick. We had some reports that these big long lines of trucks, semi-trucks hauling oil for ISIS, were actually owned in part, or maybe in large part, by the son of the current Turkish president. Can you guys confirm, deny that?
Yeah, it's a very official thing. So he even, I think he still is not in Turkey, so he's in Italy. And the Italy government going right off him now because Italy is really against Turkey. And they have proved that he have a company. His name is Bilal Erdogan. And he have a company who's like, I call it a minister of stolen oil. I don't know how I call him. So it's something like that. And the reason why they does is because if the government do that, NATO have probably some right to kick them out or remove them. But if a company do that, then they cannot blame the Turkish government. You know what I mean? So it's some, I don't know what kind of business they do, but his whole family is involved. Even his daughter of Erdogan is involved. She is the head of the hospital when the ISIS get injured in Syria by YPG or someone else. Then they cross the border, Turkey, and the Turkish soldiers and police, they just catch them up and bring them to hospital for treatments. That is what Turks do.
Let me ask you guys something. Right now, we have a serious problem. We have ISIS, which we all admit was American generated. If not for the America's meddling in the political regime of Syria, we wouldn't have this problem, just like we wouldn't have the problem in Egypt or Libya. Benghazi would not have occurred. All of these things, we created this situation. But currently what we have is we have a nuclear approved Iran. We have ISIS, who is gaining territory by the day. We have Turkey, who claims to be our ally because they are in NATO. However, they have proven themselves to be extreme, as extremist in the Muslim community as they are antagonizing, of all places, Russia. I wrote again said today or yesterday, he believes he could invade Russia in 2 days. Good luck with that, buddy. Yeah. Good luck with that. So, I mean, there's an antagonistic behavior there. Then, if I'm not mistaken, one of the things we're going to talk about is there is a civil war going on in Turkey right now with, what is it, the PPK?
No. They call it PKK. But the story of PKK is old. So it was time of Mr. Clinton. Who else? I mean, you see now how Miss Hillary Clinton working close to Mr. Obama. So they just, PKK was founded to defend the Kurdish nation, the Kurdish people, because the Turkish government always, even before Erdogan, wasn't better than now, but now it's worse than before, of course, because he's like new Hitler or something. Right. But it's not new. You know, I mean, the Turkish government always tortured and just they hit kids, killed, and like they do exactly now. But before the international media no one was interested or cared because it was under control of some power. And now, we trying to help to show the world that what's really going on. And thank you. Now even you in America know who Kurds are. So some Americans even never heard about Kurds before. Right. That is what Turkey doing. And they are afraid of that if the Kurds get too much power, that they want to get them land back, and which is to me pretty normal because it's the original Kurdish land. I'm sorry. Okay. Turkey is founded since 1923, and they since 1953 or something a NATO member, and in 97 it started something really big. NATO, I don't know, they deal with Afghanistan, with Pakistan, with this whole Arab, Saudis, Islamic world things, and then Al-Qaeda. And the founder of PKK just, he's a smart guy. He's arrested since 99, catched by CIA and Mossad, and was a dirty deal. They thought probably, if we arrest the leader of PKK and put them in list like terrorist. Mm-hmm. PKK never attacked any other nations or countries.
Yeah, how do they take Hamas off the list?
They never did. Right. This guy, the leader of PKK, never killed anyone. He never raped anyone. And he's in jail, isolated in one cell. Around him, minimum 1,000 Turkish soldiers on an island like Alcatraz or something, since almost 70 years.
Right.
I'm sorry. So, and ISIS get catched in Germany right now, and they got 3 years after they came back from Syria.
After beheading people.
For beheading and raping people.
And burning them alive. Mm-hmm. My own friend.
So, there's a big difference. You know what I mean? So, and there's something is really wrong here. And they call always for everything the excuses they need. They blame PKK because, I don't know, they're probably afraid that PKK get power.
PKK. What was it? What was the bombing at that peace demonstration in the capital of Turkey? And
Diyarbakir. When? Right now, or when you mean?
A couple months ago. A month ago or two ago.
Capital
what was the peace demonstration?
It's in Ahmed. Turks call it Diyarbakir, which is the war now. The civil war, it's going on in the same place now. They just, I don't know if you should use Twitter for everyone who wants to see something. Twitter is 1 million times better than Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Because Mr. Zuckerberg looks like he loved the Turks. He helped them. So everyone get reported and blocked and for nothing. You post similar things, not bad things. ISIS can post what they want. They don't get blocked. But I don't get the system. So, but in Twitter, they really tweet many videos and everything, then you can see what really going on there. So the Turkish military, they hit house, the children, they killed little boys, 11 years old. The sniper, he shoot the head. They shoot pregnant woman. She opened the door. She don't know what's going on.
Get killed all the time.
There was a big human rights lawyer who was lawyer of Kurdish human rights in Turkey. They just shoot him just 2 weeks ago.
Just assassinated him.
And then the people that were chasing the cops had rubber bullets or something, because you could see the bullets bouncing off of them. They weren't even using real ones.
Okay.
Wow. So it was an assassination. Go ahead.
Yeah, it is.
Go ahead.
It's a big genocide. What they try to do. What they try to do now, it's a really big genocide, and I have no idea why the West world is just watching and do nothing. I
most definitely do, Nessy, and that is because we have Imam Hussein in ISIS headquarters in Washington, D.C. That's why. I mean, that's
I want
how
to
I
tell
feel.
you something which is pretty important because many people don't know that, okay? Middle East doesn't mean that all people who live in the Middle East, like Israel, are Islam, okay?
Right.
And the
Right.
roots of the Kurds, if you go back the history, all of them, in fact, the roots are Yazidism. Okay, the Yazidism religion is the oldest religion in the world, which is pretty similar to the Christians. So
Right.
we're painting eggs and Eastern time and all these things. Okay, we have angels and all these things. Just the only difference is that the Yazidis use the real original name of Jesus, which is like Isa. Okay, and the Jesus born like a few thousand years later, I think 2,000 years or something, and that's why this similar with the Bible and Christianity, and because it's a 74th genocide at the Yazidi people, and the first time that the international world get attention. Okay, the only thing what the Islamic world do is they rape the woman, they kill the people, and everyone who are afraid, they get forced to convert to Islam. And that is the only reason why exist Muslim Kurds today.
They were conquered in 1400.
That is not our blood and not our roots. We even not dark, we have not Arab blood, we have nothing. We are in Middle East like the Jewish people, but we are the roots of I think of the humanity of the whole world because
someone
it's
just
the
came out that the Jewish people and the Kurds have some of the same DNA.
Well, I mean,
fact,
we've addressed that here on the show before. That 6 Yazidis and Kurds are not a Muslim. They're not Muslims. They're not Islamic. And we've discussed that here on the show before. Senor, I know that you wanted to take, you needed to deal with something. Can you go ahead and take the lead here?
Yeah, I was going to ask Diana if you had anything else. Otherwise, if you don't mind continue listening in, we'd appreciate it. But we just wanted to give you a second if you had anything else. Also, Jerry is saying you're a great support for them. Do. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. And, Turkey, the only reason why they even have the nerve to do what they're doing right now is because they know NATO backs them.
Yes.
Exactly.
We exactly agree.
That's what's really disturbing about the whole thing.
It very much is.
If there's a World War III, they know that the Kurds are right in the middle, and they'll be able to wipe them out, a genocide, 100%, and get away with it.
Oh, my
God. Exactly.
And they...
That's exactly what's going on.
Yeah, and they provoke a third world war. They provoke Russia that Russia can fight against NATO, that we get a world war, a third world war, and we have to be really very careful with that. And I think no one will want that, and I'm sad that so many people, I'm talking about regular people, don't stand up because we have really to do that, because it's not funny for America too.
The Turks hate Americans too.
Yeah, anyway, I've been a few years ago in my music business in touch with some Turks, and sometimes when they ask me, are you going to America? Yeah, I need to go to Los Angeles. Oh, why are you working with Americans? Some people told me that, really. I was like shocked. I said, what's your problem? And I didn't care so much because I realized now how much Turks hate all of us. I mean, not only Kurds. So
they tried to lynch Navy people.
Wow.
I don't know if you've seen it where they tried to put the bags over their head. There was
the majority of Turks have this problem that they are, they call it in Turkish Bozkurt, and translated means gray wolves, and there is the super Nazis, okay? Wow. And that is the one who back ISIS and the president, the government, and that is the one who uses extreme Islam things. They care only own business, be honest. I think they use ISIS too, and they use NATO, and I don't know why NATO still back them. Yeah, I mean.
And Nessy, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Hasn't the Kurds had to also, the armies of the Kurds had to also had to deal with the Iran regime?
Our Kurds? Oh,
Yeah.
no, I can't tell you that. You know why? Because Iran killing everyday Kurds. So we would be happy if we would have peace with them. But same Turks do. I mean, you should maybe really go in Twitter or Google something. Go in Facebook or join our groups in Facebook. We have
I have.
She's in my Help Free the Kurds.
We post that many times. They just hang Kurds every day. I don't know how many, 20, 50, 100 for nothing, just because they are Kurds.
For all those listening out there, you can't let
Shia, you know,
use fear to make you back down, because they win with that people fearing them. Diane knows this firsthand, don't you, Diane? That some people will back down.
I mean, the reason is Kurdistan is divided in 4 different cantons. So one canton called Bakur is in North Kurdistan, is called East Turkey. Then we have Rojhelat, which is in Iran. And then we have Bashur in Iraq and Rojava in Syria. Okay, so this was the really smart plan after the World War. Even the Britons decide the border. If you watch the map, then you can see it's not the natural border, it's directly straight lines. So they just decide this part is Syria now and this part is like Iran. So, and all of them being happy, just the Kurds, no land. Even it's Kurdistan.
Well, exactly.
Exactly. So, and that is what they done. And Iran sorry?
I'm sorry. I'm going to interrupt you guys for just a moment. I'm going to ask Diane if she has any final comment or question, and then I'm going to have to disconnect her.
No, that's okay. I'm good with it.
Okay, darling. Well, we appreciate you tuning in, and we most definitely appreciate you calling in. And thank you so much for your support.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
All right. You have a nice evening. Continue listening. Thank you. Okay, Senor, did you have questions?
Yeah, I have a question for Jerry. I want to go back to Jerry, something he had mentioned in passing. And you guys were talking about some of the atrocities being committed. Jerry, tell me about the friend, and you had mentioned, I think he was burned alive or something like that.
The reason why I started to help free the Kurds was I reached out to the Kurdish people when I knew what Obama was doing in Syria, starting to mount that, and I knew that there was Kurds in the northern part of that, because I've been following them since 1988. And then I started commenting in their groups, but they weren't speaking English, although I knew many of them do speak English. Okay. And Zarza, a woman named Zarza, replied to me eventually, and we started talking. And then all of a sudden ISIS went into Iraq, and she lived near Erbil, and she was getting afraid, and we would talk all night online and via text messaging. And one day I didn't see her for about 3 days. I was real worried, and she came back and she said she had taken 25 kids over the mountains to safety. Their parents had been killed by ISIS, and she decided to join the YPJ. And probably about 8 months after that, she was caught by ISIS, and then she was hung on hooks on the wall, her and this other girl. And they raped her and cut her up for 3 days and put salt in the wound so we get infected and hurt a lot.
Oh,
and then before the 2 of them died, they burned them alive.
Oh, wow. Absolutely.
Wow.
That is pretty normal.
I see the picture of her, and they cut her limbs off and her head off. And it was all burnt.
My goodness. Now, we have a situation where there is kind of a civil war, which kind of destabilizes Turkey to some extent. However, it seems that the regime in charge there is kind of doubling down and banging its chest and becoming even more atrocious than usual. Is that what you guys are seeing?
Oh, yeah. This is as sick as back in the 1400s or whatever, you know. This is
evil,
sick as it gets. I've seen, they don't have the video, you know, they don't keep it up there very long, but there was kids hung upside down by ISIS, and they cut their organs out alive just so they could sell them in jars to...
Yeah, they sell the human organs.
And they sell them through Turkey, and Turkey has a part with the dealing with this.
Well, and exactly, and that's part of the thing that most people miss. Now, I'm not so certain that the majority of our listeners are that asleep or uninformed or unaware, because there are some things that we discuss on a regular basis. Well, there are those of us who will just download it as soon as it comes out, and once you download it, you can repost it all you want to in as many places as you want to and keep them busy. But the fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, what we have is basically someone aligned with the entire philosophical side of what ISIS is, running a country that we are allied with and in bed in the NATO union with.
Absolutely right. We got to get them out of NATO. There's a movement. There's a petition out there to put Turkey on the terrorist list, and we've shared it.
No, I think it's not easy, because
I know it's not easy, but it points out what Turkey's doing, by having it out there. I don't know if you agree or disagree with getting them on the terrorist list, but they're supplying ISIS. We got videos of them.
But they'll never get on it. You won't get, but you won't get a nation that we have signed an alliance with that is part of NATO onto a terrorist list. We've got one here in the United States. The Imam Hussein and all his evil little minions have gone about removing the Muslim Brotherhood from a terrorist watch list, removing CARE from a terrorist watch list, have taken Hamas off of a terrorist watch list. Hezbollah has been removed. PLO has been removed.
Yeah, but not PKK, right? Even
no, not PKK.
He didn't kill anyone. So, it's
that gets
strange.
blocked in the Senate. Harry Reid.
No, not Harry Reid. I wish it really. I really do believe.
No, I'm saying that to take the PKK off the list, he's the one that would block it, or is blocking it.
Well, unfortunately, I would like to blame Democrats for everything that is going on with the direction that this nation is taking in not setting an example for what can be tolerated and not tolerated. And as much as I have a true disdain for a Democrat, a liberal, a progressive, a Marxist, communist, an asshat, I just can't lay all this at the feet of liberals when I see the likes of Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan leading both legislative branches down the road to pave to hell.
Right.
I know.
Yeah. Jerry and Nessy, when you have the United States indirectly supplying ISIS. When they went into Iraq, the Iraqis basically threw down their weapons and went running off. The ones that didn't join them, I'm sure they killed some of them as well. They got at least 3,000 Humvees, United States Humvees. You see them over and over using the United States Humvees, tanks, untold amount of weapons, ammunition, hand grenades, you name it. We've got the Muslim Brotherhood we've got the Muslim Brotherhood in the White House. I don't know how you change it. I really don't.
Latest cabinet member.
Yeah, you know how you can change it. It's my opinion.
Okay, go ahead.
I think the best president America ever had, my opinion, was JFK.
Interesting. Mm-hmm.
And after
Ronald
him,
Reagan?
many think. Yeah, you love Ronald Reagan, but I don't. My opinion. I'm sorry.
Well, tell me. Okay. Follow up on your opinion, and then I'm going to talk to Jerry about that too. Tell us why you don't believe Ronald Reagan, and of course, you're fully, just tell us.
Because I think there's some reason why JFK get killed. Because some people don't like that he was someone who wanted peace, and he was the one who tried to deal in a good way, in a peace way with the whole world.
Yes.
And that some people didn't like that, and the policy changed after him a lot.
It did, and some people, and I think you're correct in a lot of ways. Some people would say that he was the last true Democrat president that we've had. And ever since then, it's been more left-leaning, more communist, socialist, whatever word you want to throw in there, leftist, ever since him. Of course, starting right away with LBJ from the great state of Texas. So now, Jerry, let's go over to you on the Reagan thing. And because I'm a fan of Reagan, but however, we also got an amnesty under Reagan, and lots of other things happened. So you can't fault him for everything. I think in some cases,
it's not
trusted the Democrats so much, but you tell me about Reagan.
Well, basically, he won 49 states after that. I was just starting to work right about then, 1977. I went through the Carter years, and it really got bad. He forced a lot of deals down Israel's throat, which let Muslim Brotherhood out of jail, gave back Gaza Strip, all that kind of stuff that made Israel's safety bad. And actually, Hamas uses an attack, and then the backlash to that, the attack back by Israel as propaganda to get more Muslims on their side, just like ISIS does. They try to split us, not humanity by religion. It should be people of humanity standing against evil, not any particular religion. It should be that way, but they're trying to split it the other way, driving more, I would say, average Muslims or ones that follow the one book versus the other one, I would say, because there is some good things in one and not so good in the other, like that. And Ronald Reagan also stood up to Iran. They gave him back the hostages right away because they feared him. He bombed Gaddafi in Libya, and that stopped that terrorist stuff. You got to put yourself out there as if you aren't going to stand for this kind of stuff that's going on now. Even if you're not going to do it.
Agreed. And of course, we've got a president now that no one can argue that he, in 2009, made the speech in Cairo. And I've called it again and again that it's a speech by a Muslim to Muslims, and that incited what they called at first the Arab Spring, but that totally ended up destabilizing the entire Middle East, which is, I believe, what they wanted to do. I mean, we've been involved directly in, I don't know about the direct assassination or killing, but deposing of figures that are in charge of these different countries. Egypt. You can go right on down the line. Of course, Gaddafi,
Egypt got itself back, though. The military did get back.
Egypt, right.
Same
Egypt
thing with
turned
Tunisia,
around after we put our puppet in. Yes, Egypt did.
Yeah, I mean, American power or NATO power, however, they did a lot to destabilize Middle East, that's for sure.
Yes.
Because they know what takes over.
However, founded, financed, created, trained ISIS or Al Qaeda before. I mean, fact is that they are the one who destabilized Middle East. I tell you something, because the lady before, she asked me about Iran. So we talked about Iraq, which was Saddam Hussein. I think he was pushed by George Bush family, and after they didn't need him anymore, so you know what's happened then at the end. I mean, it's pretty clear. It's not a secret that he got chemical weapon to kill Kurds. Turkey chemical weapon kill Kurds. It's proved too. I mean, right now Turkey get chemical weapon. Okay, I'm not talking about past. So there's one guy from one Turkish political wings called CHP. He just gave an interview. Now he's arrested because he told the truth. So he published. I mean, how that should work, how we want to get peace in our world.
Well, I know Turkey kills
everyone is involved now, like America, Germany, France, England, Turkey. Everyone is China, involved in the Middle East to destabilize that. They kill everyday children and they just don't care. And what's going on in Turkey, indirectly Turkey, this Holocaust, what they're doing now with the Kurds, I mean, why NATO is just watching if they don't support killing innocent people? Why they don't just watching?
You're
why
absolutely
they don't take
right.
any action?
You're absolutely right, Nessy. You are absolutely right. Jerry, you were trying to say?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, in Turkey right now, there's towns that look like Kobania. Where Turkey's just leveling them, and reporters get killed if they report it or jailed. One got 45 years for reporting some stuff. They called her a traitor to the state or something. But who was the one that got hit by the cement truck? There was another one that supposedly hung herself for missing a flight. And she's
you know what they're doing?
In a Turkish airport.
They kill people and then they drag them out of the car.
Behind
the car. And then, we are living in 600 or what? This is 2015 or 16.
And they turn off the power. They turn off the internet.
Can you imagine someone do that in America? Not you. I'm sure you cannot. So we don't want that in Kurdistan too.
Right. So what do you think? Do you think we're going to have a big election next year? Of course, that's all anybody's talking about. And sadly, they're not paying attention to what's going on over there like they should. People don't over there, in my opinion, do not have a year. People are dying every day in heinous ways, like you've said, by the hundreds, probably, I don't know if the thousands, but for sure by the hundreds. What are we going to do about this? What can we do about this besides raise awareness?
Off the border first between ISIS.
What I wish is that the regular people, because the power do anyway what they want. They now don't listen. But I think the Americans, the regular people, and not only Americans, also in Europe and everywhere, the regular people need to take that very serious, because I'm sure Germans wouldn't love that, to see that in Germany, and same in America or in England or somewhere. So why they don't stand up for humanity? Just go at the street and protest, please.
You were saying earlier, about people not showing up for protests. I just had
the people are brainwashed. They just don't care if they have a good life with pizza and shopping and I don't know what.
Sports.
Yeah.
We also had someone open up a fake account and send out a bunch of messages to some of the people who were coming and scared them away by saying someone was going to come and bomb them. To our
No, I think that's some of them may be scared, but most
account was open all 24 hours.
Most people don't care. They even never heard about Kurds.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Jerry,
there was people that were coming that backed out.
Right. Jerry, you were just in Washington, D.C., is that correct?
Right. This past weekend and Monday.
Yes. Tell us, and that's how I got connected with you, through Elizabeth Chappell. Just a wonderful woman. Like I said, she's been on the show before. Has a love for those people, and I think the thing she does with her, photographs is just amazing. But what was your what were you there for? Who did you see? What was your response? Give us a little bit of information on that.
Well, 3 things we did. We did a drive through several towns in Virginia with Kurdish flags on our cars and stuff.
Okay.
And we wanted to videotape burning of an ISIS flag, but the person that was going to bring it backed out coming, so we didn't have one to burn. And then we got some pictures and video and stuff out in front of the Turkish embassy, denouncing them, what they were doing to help ISIS. And then on Monday, we lobbied the Senate all day. Though they were busy with the budget deal, we did get to speak to a lot of their foreign advisors and stuff, and got contacts for that, and their schedulers, and I'm in contact with them about doing possible Skype calls and that. Nessy and I have already done one before, and I've done a few calls myself.
Yeah, we had in May 2015. We organized a rally, but many people tried hard to disturb our rally.
All right.
Yeah.
Where was that at?
That was also in D.C. at the National Mall.
On the mall.
Speeches, a stage, everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I got stuff for that.
Who do you think were these people that were trying to interrupt?
Go ahead, Jose.
I was asking them how many people or who do they think was trying to interrupt, was doing that?
We had some people telling people there was going to be a shooting gallery and it was against Israel. What was the thing about Israel? What was going on with that, Nessy, exactly?
We had some Jewish people who wanted to support the rally.
Okay.
And some people being against that. And
he said the Jewish government was against it or something.
Yeah.
They were making it up.
So my rally was anyway normally a Kurdish rally, but still I'm not anti-Israel, so I thought it's maybe a good thing to put together.
Absolutely.
But so there are a lot of people who try everything against rallies like that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you.
You put a rumor out there and it hurts you.
Let me ask you something. I'm going to direct this at Jerry first. Jerry, if our listeners and those others that will be listening to this program wanted to support your efforts and the work that you're doing, how would they go about doing that? Please give websites, web information.
Facebook. My group is Help Free the Kurds. And Nessy, you could say yours better than me. Lions of Sinjar and Kobani.
Lions of Shingal and Kobani, yes.
Kobani. She says it better.
Yeah, but I mean,
and they're through. Yeah. But yours is through. Yours is Help the Kurds on Facebook, correct, Jerry?
Help Free the Kurds.
Help Free the Kurds.
Okay.
Yeah, there's
Facebook.
another one like that. There's many, but we post events in our thing, and all the news that's going on. People share it from worldwide. All the news that's going on in comments and stuff like that. Actually, same thing in hers. It's the same thing. Actually, she gets
exactly.
It's a little bit before me often.
Exactly.
There.
And you have videos available if people would like to actually view those videos. Mm-hmm. And guys,
actually,
Jerry,
I'll burn them DVDs. Some of them I've downloaded. Since that time when I was telling you about the kids being cut up and stuff like that, I've learned how some pages, how to kind of hack it a little bit and down like YouTube. There's ways of getting stuff off of there and that.
Okay. Well, one of the things that Jerry is going to do for all of our listeners out there, if you're interested in seeing these videos and you want to go to Facebook to Help the Kurds on Facebook, then please, I encourage you to go do so. We will be providing those links on our website, thewtfradioshow.com, so you'll be able to find that information for Jerry and the groups and links to the videos that he will be providing me following this broadcast tonight, and that may not update on our website till tomorrow, so please make sure to check our website tomorrow. And Nessy, I want to know if people wanted to support you, follow your videos, your news, etc. I know that they can follow you on Twitter and that there are other ways for them to reach out and offer any assistance or support to you. How would they go about doing that?
I have a own project started called Unrehearsed Star. And the Ronahi is a Kurdish name and means daylight. And Star is a star, which translated in Kurdish means protect. I started this project very new, so I have a website, but I have a Twitter account, Unrehearsed too, so you can follow me there if you like. The main reason for this project is to save money. I just tried to start a GoFund link, but it's not uploaded still. So because it's very complicated, you need a bank account and these things. I want to make sure that to get money together, and I know some safe areas already in Rojava, and I want to build a house for the orphans, for the children.
That would be fantastic. Yes.
And I want to open an international American Kurdish school. So
it's also part of Red Crescent.
Teach in both languages, and I know some English very awesome teacher. They would be happy to go there and teach the children. And what I want to do is they started already first to print the first books in Kurmanji, which is Kurdish. We say Kurmanji. So we start to learn to teach our kids in the mother language. Even Turkey don't allow that, so they don't let the Kurds talk in. It's not allowed to talk in mother language in Turkey, by the way. So that is what we. Be killed. Yeah, if you talk as Kurd your mother language, or you learn at home or something, then you get killed.
What a fantastic aspiration. What a great goal. We will most definitely do all we can to assist you in supporting what you're doing there. Then I'm going to hit something on a personal note with you, Nessy, and that is you're Kurdish, but you're living in Germany. And
Yes.
and we had not discussed this. You and I and Jerry had a long discussion earlier today and kind of getting to know each other. And I did not ask you this then because I kind of needed to get centered here and get things done. And so I did cut the conversation short before I could ask you. But with you being in Germany, right now, there is a massive influx of Syrian refugees that are severely infiltrated by jihadists. What is actually going on in Germany?
Oh my God. We have, I think, 1,400,000 refugees already here.
1.4.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's not like America, by the way.
No ISIS, no refugees.
No, what I'm saying, you cannot blame all refugees. There are a lot of people who are really don't want to join or move to Europe. They love Syria. They've been happy before. So you have to see that point too. I mean, it's pretty important to see that. They every day, also not only Kurdish children, also the Syrian Arabs. I mean, I'm not a fan of Assad, but this have nothing to do. You cannot blame the whole nation. So they are children and women get bombed and killed every day. They scared. They lost everything. So I'm sorry for these people. And some of them, they have nothing. They have only a shirt, what they have, and little bags, what they bring, the backpack or something. So, and I think it's pretty hard for them to came in the West world. Everything's different. They know everyone hate them anyway, you know. So I don't want to be in this position, be honest. So we have a good life, but the other thing is that it's my opinion that many ICs who are not Germans or not other European, not Italians or not Spanish people or something, but they have kind of German citizenship because they lived a long time here and before, and they joined ICs and they just come back and, you know, they just shave the birds and then they join the refugees and they come back. I mean, some of them, what I heard, and I'm pretty sure that's true because Turkey do everything, they just give them the Turkish citizenship, so they get passports. And so you never know if they are Saudis or from Tunisia or from Morocco or wherever, because many of them even have no passport. So what I see that German government just, if they don't know their real names, they don't know how old they even are. So they just, I don't know how they control them, but they get new passport and everything, but they don't control that. And I'm pretty sure that many ICs join the refugees.
They don't let you have guns over there, do they?
Yeah, that is the other thing, but you cannot, as refugee, use guns with you.
Okay.
But
no, I'm talking about you defending yourself with a gun.
No, that's not possible in Germany. So because it's
know.
not
Don't
allowed.
let it happen in America.
I mean, be honest, I can. In the past, I sometimes was scared of America because everything was allowed there. You know, I mean, use weapon. I don't know these things in Germany. That doesn't work. He is never allowed without any license that everyone just can use a weapon and have a home. So, and we never, you know, I mean, I grow up here my whole life and I never had a problem with anyone. Even I never in my life had a gun. I mean, I still have not one. I don't know how to use.
Well, the jihadists lasted 3 seconds in Texas.
Yeah, but I don't know how that will maybe change in the future here in Germany. I hope not. But thanks God, we still have no problems without guns. So
yes.
When I was in America the last time, I was after our rally. I was at the service station. I was driving with a car from Washington to New York, and I found a bullet at the Starbucks,
Uh-huh.
outside, and I was just like shocked. I thought, oh my God, this is a bullet. So look, I'm totally German in these things because I grew up here. For me, it's not normal to find a bullet.
Right.
So I thought, okay, what am I doing now? To the rubbish, I called some cops. I didn't see cops there. So I thought, okay, take with you. And when you're in New York, you will give some cops. And then at the toll, I thought two cops, girls. I told them, hey, look, guys, I found that there and there. And they asked me, just, you're American? I said, no, I'm kind of vacation here. And I had a rally in Washington. And I'm Kurdish, but I live in Germany, blah, blah, blah. And then she called someone, was like the boss or someone, I don't know. He was pretty funny. He was just pretty fast in 2 minutes there. And he told me, you are not American, right? I said, no, I'm not. How you know that? And he said, if you were American, you never would give me the bullet.
No,
It's normal. It's not
absolutely.
special here. I said,
Right.
oh, okay. So, and he was funny. He just, because I was so nice, I gave him the bullet. So he made the whole way free for me. So I could drive very easily to inside Manhattan.
Tell them where you stay, too, Nessy.
That was my experience, last experience in New York.
So her hotel was full of cops.
Oh,
okay.
wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I
Nessy-
know Germany. I know Germany does not have the ability to for its citizens to have guns. Here in the United States, we do. We hunt. We shoot for target practice. We shoot in competitions. We shoot in self-defense. But the primary reason that the United States has guns is to be able to overthrow a tyrannical government. And I'm going to tell you, I own weapons. I will continue to own weapons, and I will
Amen.
own weapons until I am no more.
The only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
Amen.
I
Jerry.
agree.
Nessie, I have
Yeah?
something for you real quick. I grew up
Thank-
on the mission field. My parents might be listening. They're good people. We started an orphanage with 60 kids, 30 boys, 30 girls. It's an amazingly difficult undertaking, but it is an amazingly good and fruitful, and just it pays you back in so many different ways to see these kids, being taken, or maybe not having anything, to being, having a chance at life, basically. So God bless you in all your efforts there.
Thank
One
you.
question for you: because we know the United States still, under this current regime, is wanting to depose Assad, what, in your opinion, is that good or bad? And if he was gone, what would happen? Perhaps, in your opinion.
My opinion, I wish that the NATO, the Americans, deal with Assad in a peace way.
Thank
They
you.
talk to him, because I think, look, I know the Kurds in Rojava, which is in Syria.
Yeah.
Assad didn't attack or kill Kurds like Turk do or does or do still, or Iranis do. So I cannot say really bad things about Assad. And I don't believe this story that Assad is the big killer and only he is the one who used chemical weapon against children, blah, blah, blah.
I agree.
I don't believe that.
I agree
So what
with
I
you.
think is that I wish the West power should find a way to deal with him, to give the Kurds a chance to get them land back, because it's possible for the West power. And I don't know if that would stay or not. I mean, it's not important for me that, but I think they should deal with him
Okay. Yes.
to find a peaceful way for all of us.
Well, that
I
that's
think he
that's
would-
part of the problem, is that even right now, on both sides of the political aisle, somehow the legislators here in the United States have become convinced that the only way to squash things is deal with Assad. If they would have not messed with Assad to begin with, we would not have ISIS.
Exactly, that is what I'm saying. Thank you. Right. I mean, why? Okay, let's say Assad is a killer. Okay, so what is the president of Turkey then?
Well, absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. He is a co-conspirator with ISIS, and he is a mass murderer. He is no different than any of the other dictators.
Yeah, but
that they
he's
have
NATO.
claimed.
He's an ally. They are close
Right.
to him. They protect him. They back
Exactly.
him. And every
Yes.
speeches, meetings, G20 meetings, whatever they had now in last weeks, months. So they back him. So there's this, to me, that is excuses. I'm sorry.
Well,
I don't know, but they
agree.
write of Syria, and now they need someone who they blame for the
That's
whole thing, what's going on. I
That's
would,
exactly
I
it.
really wish that they just say, "Come on, Mr. Assad, let's
I
stop here."
absolutely agree. I absolutely agree.
And I'm pretty sure that most refugees, they would love to go back to Syria.
Well, that's probably
Yes.
true.
There's no ISIS. I say there's no refugees problem. They're all worrying about refugees. They said you could eliminate ISIS in a month if they really wanted to.
I agree with that. I agree wholeheartedly with that. However, guys, we've come to the end of our time,
wants
and
ISIS,
we
huh?
appreciate so much you guys joining us and sharing the information with us. I look forward to getting to know both of you better. I had a slight opportunity to do so today, and I'm just really looking forward to it. Senor.
Jerry, one more question for you before we let you go. And first of all, thanks for being on the show. Jerry, how many people were with you on Monday in Washington, D.C. on behalf of the Kurds?
Like 8.
My God.
Not too many.
Can I
That's
ask
why
you
it's the one broke
something?
down with the cars. So.
A nation
I
of
ask you
300 million
something?
plus, 8 people.
Exactly.
But we can
Nessy?
fill the sports stadiums and we can do, everything else. Okay.
Guys, I have a last question, please.
Uh-huh.
Can you guys please help us get more international media attention?
We will do our best.
I should say right now.
We
That
we
would
will
be
do our best.
awesome.
Guys, if you would like to share this particular show and these guests with your friends, co-workers, associates, people you meet on the
Elected
street,
officials.
elected officials,
Anybody.
what have you, then please, following this show, you will find it available for on-demand play or download at Spreaker.com, at YouTube.com, and at iHeartRadio. All you've got to punch in is the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot Show, and just look for the show that features Jerry Kruger and Nessy Elik. And I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yes.
I can't pronounce half the stuff.
Thank you so
Yeah, I know.
much, guys.
Thank you. Hopefully, you'll have Theo on Monday. He was there at the Kobani border and
Well-
seen Turkey what they were doing. So
Well, we appreciate both of you joining us very much. Guys, I will also remind all of our listeners out there that following tonight's show, probably when our website updates tomorrow, you will be able to find the links to assist, support, follow, etc. on our website for both Jerry and the groups that he's involved with, in addition to Nessy, her Twitter, so that you can follow her on Twitter
Rona
and the groups that
Hista.
she's among. Absolutely. Senor.
Jerry and Nessy, thanks for being with us. This is not the end. This is simply the beginning. God
Oh,
bless you
great.
folks in your efforts, and we will do as much as we possibly can. Our hearts go out to those people over there that have seemingly been forgotten by almost everybody in the world right now, and it's a damn shame. That's the least.
Bas Havel, that's Kurdish for thank you, friend.
Well,
Very
thank
I
honored.
you.
say
Thank you.
you so much, guys, for inviting us to the show.
Yes.
Well,
Peace
we
for the
hope you
world.
enjoy. We hope you guys both enjoyed the platform that we provide.
we
We
did.
go
did.
with a
I
conservative
did,
commentary.
for sure. Thank
you.
you.
Well, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
You guys have a nice night. And thank you.
You
I
too. Thank you so much.
Right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
What fantastic individuals they were, Senor.
I am angry beyond belief at what the United States is doing and not doing alternatively throughout the world, and what we have started in the Middle East intentionally. There's no way it was done. You know, some people will say that it's done by a bunch of people that don't know their heads from a hole in the ground, but I don't believe that. I believe they've done it intentionally to destabilize, to gain power. It's classic Alinsky type stuff. And I'll tell you what, there is blood on their hands that we can't imagine. You know, we talk about Benghazi, the people that died there, but my God, folks, hundreds upon thousands upon tens of thousands are dying every day in the most unimaginable ways. And we are sitting and we are arguing about whose candidate is better while the GOP is selling us out to the tune of what, hundreds of billions, if not another trillion or more dollars.
More than a trillion.
Over and over and over. And we are not focusing on the good that we could do over there for people that, I don't care what religion background they are. If they're good people, they bleed the same as we do. They're God's children. And I mean, it is a damn shame that the United States won't use its might and its power to destroy, absolutely destroy. Now, I'm torn too, because when I hear Rand Paul talk and I hear others talk, I want to be one of the guys that withdraws into our borders, and we simply, we draw this line that they're not going to cross, and if it comes here, then we do that. But I am telling you what, I think we have a duty and obligation that when we see this type of thing happening, and it's happened in other places, Africa, I mean, the killing fields, name it, we should go in and decisively and not just pussyfooting around, but simply go in and destroy the aggressors, destroy their ability to make war, to do what they're doing. And it's a damn shame that we don't. And we're just so focused on all these little piddly things that we have and all these distractions. I mean, many people couldn't point that out anywhere. Point out the places that we're talking about on a map. They don't care. But they can name you sports scores from 20, 30 years ago. They can name all this other trivia, the Kardashians, what's on TV, what TV shows to watch. But they don't know about tens of thousands of God's children that are being murdered in the most inhumane ways on a daily basis. And we have the moral responsibility, in my opinion. And like I said, this is coming from someone that lately, the last couple of years, I'm thinking we need to not get involved because we seem to do more damage than good in the long run. But I think we need to go in there like we did in World War II. We destroy them and we move on. And I don't know if anybody running is willing to do that. I mean, you hear people talk about, I'll nuke it till the sand glows and this, that, and the other. Yeah. Well, folks, as far as I'm concerned, if we really, truly cared after 9/11, instead of starting to import more Islamic people and Middle Eastern people than ever before under the W. Bush regime, who also had the Muslim Brotherhood in it, we would have gone and we would have bombed the living hell out of Saudi Arabia, where most of the pilots came from, and not gone into Iraq and Afghanistan. But that's just my opinion. I could be very wrong here. It is just absolutely despicable what is happening and what we allow to happen. And it's Bush, it's Obama, it's Clinton, it's Democrat, it's Republican. They're all the same. They're all equally worthless. They're worse than worthless because what they're doing is selling our children, our grandchildren, and us into slavery, into debt that we can never possibly pay back.
But isn't that the point? Isn't that what they're attempting to do, is collapse us so that we're all fair and equitable? What is it? Financial equality and social justice. Isn't that climate justice? We're hearing climate justice. We're hearing social justice. We're hearing global equality. These are the new terms that they're coming out to push the agenda for a UN-controlled global government. Mm-hmm. I mean, Paul Preston right here on Patriot Network News speaks of that frequently during his broadcast on his Agenda 21 show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's like I said, Alinsky tactics. It's Agenda 21. It's folks. It's been this isn't just happening under Obama, and I know some of you know that. Hopefully, most of you know that. It's not just him. He has certainly doubled down. I mean, he's put the needle at full speed ahead. Damn the torpedoes! But it has been, like I said, Muslim immigration was up to levels not seen before. Right within weeks of 9/11. Don't forget when the entire United States fleet of Absolutely.
I don't know what happened with the senor just now, but it does happen. I hate that he got cut off, but he will be back with us just a moment. There's absolutely no doubt whatsoever of that. That does occur from time to time. Anyway, so, he's absolutely correct. It is absolutely infuriating. This is... You're sitting here watching everything that you know, something that works so well in most parts of the world. There is absolutely no way possible that all of us are going to get along enough to fall under a one world governance. It's just not going to happen. There are always going to be abuses of power. Now, is the difference going to be nation to nation, or is it going to be by law enforcement over the masses of people? Are you going to be oppressed by the control of a government that is dictated by a body that has no ties to you? There, right now, I've said on multiple occasions that we need to show up en masse in the neighborhoods of our federal representatives, our federal legislators, those that we sent to represent us, whether they be a House representative or a congressman, Senate or Congress, it doesn't matter. What we would have in this scenario is a government body where those representatives are not even from this country. They don't reside in this country. Many of them only having visited it in an elitist capacity. And this is who they want dictating what occurs in this nation. And of course, it is all about power and money. They are not getting on board with this if there's no dollar in it for them. They are no more worthy of our consideration. I would give more consideration to a $5 street hooker than I would those bastards in the District of Corruption who have sold liberty, sovereignty, freedom, the republic down the river. And I'm going to tell you something right now, guys. Before we allow the UN any more control, we need to show up en masse at these legislators. They're fixing to be home. Next week, they'll be home. Wonder how they would feel the day on Christmas Eve. Coming home, thinking that they're fixing to enjoy their Christmas Day with their family, and have 200, 1,000, 5,000 people in their neighborhood blocking their driveway, waiting on them. Do you think that they're going to enjoy their holiday? I understand that's a sacrifice on our part at the holidays, but you have to get them while they're home. Senor, I had thought the senor was back with us. However, he is, to my best of my knowledge, is not back with us. And if he does show, okay, there he is.
I was just going to say that apparently some combination of Bush, Saudi Arabia, that sort of thing, and you get kicked off the internet. I'm just teasing, of course, folks. My tinfoil hat isn't on that tight, for goodness sake.
Hey, wait a minute. I am not going to say anything because I've got more clicks, echoes, and decoding going on my telephone than anybody has ever heard. I mean, it really sounds like R2-D2's in the background.
Nice.
I'm just saying.
Hey, good Star Wars reference for the upcoming movie that I care nothing about.
Hey, speaking of movie references, and I've got to rush this through because we are severely running out of time.
Oh, yes, we are.
But I just found out that faux Sarah Palin Tina Fey is going to be in a movie. Now, of course, when we got the rights, we own the trademark for the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot radio show. The show for radio. However, I was smart enough to say, I don't want it for everything. Because you never know what someone else will use it for, and it'll bring us publicity. Well, it turns out that liberal whore Tina Fey's doing a movie called The Whiskey Tango Foxtrot.
Are you kidding me?
No! I just saw it today, and I was like, man, I am going to love this because they are going to bring us so many listeners. I'm just loving it. But guys, we are sincerely out of time. Again, this is the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot show. We're here Monday through for Thursday, live, unrehearsed, unscripted, unfiltered, PG-13, but never PC, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern. You guys can find all the links to everything on our website,